A new week, a new scandal. It's Russia again. They're interfering in our democracies, in our elections. A new report shows financial connections between individuals with relations that go straight to the White House itself. Of course, I'm talking about Hunter Biden. But before we get into that, this is Political Election 2020. I'm Jan Smith, and as always, joined by Connor Allen.
Good evening, everybody.
We've got another brilliant video for you today, but before we start, please consider subbing and liking this video if you enjoy our content, and please comment down below what you think. But the best thing you can do is to share this video to help us spread this message. So, let's get into it. Before we get into the new report, let's talk about what we already know about Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden has been working on the board of Borisa, a Ukrainian energy firm, earning $50,000 up to $50,000 a month salary. And he's been doing this while his father, Joe Biden, was in charge of Ukrainian policy during the Obama administration. What do you think of this, Connor?
Well, first of all, I think we have to elaborate a bit. I love Ukraine. Ukraine's one of my favorite countries in the world, but things are different there. Ukrainian businesses, they are all corrupt, and this is objectively provable as well. Ukrainian business isn't like Western business. You go in there, the assumption that bribes, little favors, and such like are being made. Okay, so to have Hunter Biden on one of these boards, it's really incredible because he's opening himself to these little favors, to these little requests. It will be made no matter what.
Right, and so this is a big conflict of interest, shall we say? This is what we already knew as well. Biden was on the board of this energy firm, but how is he qualified to work on this? The guy, he doesn't speak the language. He has no experience working in any kind of like energy related position before. It's on the other side of the planet from where he already was. He's someone.
The other side.
Yeah, he's someone with a law background who has a company dealing with like private investment. Why is he on an energy board in Ukraine? It does.
Absolutely. And judging from the precedent set by old Joe, I doubt Hunter even knows where Ukraine is on a map. So $50,000 a month, really? This is more than most people's salary for the year, right? For his great expertise in Ukrainian gas policy. Yeah, this is absolutely bogus. He should have resigned. When his father was working with Ukrainian policy, he should have resigned. It's a clear conflict of interest, but he didn't. That is wrong. Yeah,
he didn't resign. And not only did he not resign, he continued on in the job. When Biden announced his candidacy for, or shall we say, when Hunter Biden's position on this board came to light in the general public, he said that he's going to resign from this board, and that was, I think, nearly a year ago at this point, late last year.
Didn't fight it. So he doesn't believe he's in the right. He just kind of put his hands up and said, okay, yeah, sure, I'll resign.
But here's the thing. Those company, whether they're company accounts, but whatever, but obviously they have to announce who is on their board. He's still on the board, and he's still been on the board as of up to a few months ago. So it just seems like lip service. He said he's going to resign, but he hasn't. He's still profiting. He's still taking that $50,000 up to $50,000 a month. So
whether he likes it or not, people from a foreign country, possibly with links to Russia, now consider him to be the channel through which they can contact Joe Biden.
Exactly. And here's the thing as well. How often do we hear this rhetoric from the Democrats saying, oh, the Republicans are just there to enrich themselves, right? Trump's just there to enrich himself. It's like, hold on. The son of the former vice president suddenly gets all of these lucrative opportunities on the other side of the planet in an incredibly corrupt country, corrupt from a political and business perspective.
Objectively corrupt. We're not anti-Ukraine. It is corrupt.
Yeah,
Ukrainians
it is corrupt. And he's making huge, like you said, more than a lot of people make, more than the median wage in America.
$500,000 a year.
Yeah. Is that a coincidence? I just, there's too many red flags here for anyone to seriously believe that this guy has earned this position on merit.
And this is the whole point, isn't there? Sure, there might not be any concrete proof that there is something shady going on, but the hope is the system safeguards itself against those things by looking at situations such as this and instructing people to avoid it. You have to resign. There's a clear conflict of interest. You are instructed to avoid this scenario, and they haven't.
Okay, so let's take a look at the actual article we've got here from the New York Post. So, former President Barack Obama's administration ignored glaring warning signs when then Vice President Joe Biden's son joined the board of a Ukrainian energy company owned by a corrupt oligarch, according to a report released by Republican senators on Wednesday. Hunter Biden's position with the Burisma natural gas firm, which paid him as much as $50,000 per month, created an immediate potential conflict of interest because his dad, now president, Democratic opponent in November 3rd election, was involved in U.S. policy towards Ukraine. So he was in charge of U.S. policy. But here's the thing. The Obama administration, John Kerry, said that he wasn't aware that Hunter Biden was in this position, under oath, mind you, as well. We have now, from this report, evidence to show that aides within the actual Obama administration themselves had said that they were concerned about the conflict of interest with Joe Biden's son being at this firm. So what are they trying to cover up here exactly?
I think what they're doing is they're holding a sheet, and you can see through the sheet there's quite a bit of orange going on. There's quite a bit of smoke coming from behind that sheet, and they're saying there's no fire. There's nothing there. You can't see the fire.
This is fine.
I think it's fairly obvious to everyone with half a brain what's going on here. And I know there's some leftist who's watching right now. They're going to the dislike button. They've had it with us criticizing Hunter Biden. But I mean, from any perspective, this is the worst kind of old-style, stagnant political corruption.
Yeah, absolutely. And, here's the thing. It wouldn't be such... it wouldn't be like such a... what's the word? The phrase.
A big deal?
Yeah, a big deal, but it just wouldn't be so significant if it wasn't for the rhetoric that comes from the Democratic Party when it comes to this idea that they're just this very virtuous party.
Holier than thou party.
Yeah, holier than thou, who would never do it, never engage in such... they wouldn't be there to enrich themselves. Nancy Pelosi taking an interview from, just in front of her third fridge where she has a special ice cream compartment, talking about how... oh, yeah, Trump's just trying to, he's greedy and he's just after enriching himself and all this. Does anyone really believe that? I don't think so. I mean, we could get on to that in a whole separate issue. I don't want to go into it, but...
I think we've examined the Democratic hypocrisy quite often on this channel.
But here is just a clear-cut example of a guy, the son of the vice president, profiting, benefiting massively. Do you think this man would even be in Yale if Joe Biden wasn't a senator? Like, normal people with exceptionally talented, bright children can't get their children into these Ivy League colleges. But Joe Biden, apparently, his drug addict son, he can go to Yale, no problem. Oh, not only can he go to Yale, he's starts a private investment fund, and he's on the board of the Ukraine energy firm, making $50,000 a year. Does anyone really believe this?
Do they expect us to believe that this is all just... he's a super talented guy, The evidence isn't there in his grade, or his work history, or his personality, or in the way he conducts himself. But, it's just, You don't know him, right? So
Yeah.
assume it's true. It's utter nonsense, isn't it? And obviously, a lot of doors are open for Hunter Biden. People like you and me, and you, the listener, you don't get.
Yeah, exactly. I couldn't say it better myself. So the other big bombshell from this report, obviously we knew he was making a significant amount of money. We didn't know that the Obama administration knew about it. We didn't know that they were receiving reports from their own aides that they were concerned about it, which is something they denied. But there's new revelations. There's the money that he's been getting from extremely rich, extremely powerful, influential Russian, businesswoman in this case. So the report showed, in addition to his Burisma board set, Hunter Biden profited from a financial relationship that he and associate Devon Archer had with Russia's richest woman, Elena Berturina, former wife of late Moscow mayor Yuri Lushkov. In 2014, Berturina wired $3.5 million to a bank account held by Rosemount Seneca Thornton, an investment firm co-founded by Hunter Biden.
If I can just throw in a bit of context as well. So Miss Berturina, recently the British Prime Minister, Boris Johnson, was involved in a bit of a scandal with her because he was playing tennis with her. And the British media blew up because this is wrong when you have Russia's richest woman with links to Vladimir Putin playing tennis with the Prime Minister. So this is how big of a deal that is. Yuri Lushkov, of course, you don't get to be mayor of Moscow without being in Vladimir Putin's pocket.
Yeah.
So just to give context of how serious these people are and how serious a player they are.
And even though Yuri Lushkov had fallen out of favor with the Kremlin later on in his his term as Moscow mayor, which I assume runs indefinitely, Elena Berturina has made significant amount of money from very lucrative contracts with the Russian government.
So you don't make money in Russia without being in Putin's pocket. You know, you don't get contracts. You don't. It just doesn't happen unless you pay the service to the autocrats.
So here's the thing: why is this woman wiring $3.5 million to a bank account that Hunter Biden, to a bank account of a business that Hunter Biden co-founded and owned?
Well, this is the thing. It never manifests itself in a direct, smoking gun moment. It all manifests itself in these little favors. Okay, I'll invest in your firm because we're such good friends. And then she'll WhatsApp him and she'll say, "Oh, by the way, do you have Joe's number now he's president?" There is no innocent intent here, is there?
No, absolutely. I mean, here's the thing as well. Like, it's impossible, not impossible, but it's extremely hard to prove. Then that extra link to say, oh well, they gave the $3.5 billion to Hunter Biden, and Hunter Biden said to Joe Biden, "Oh Joe, oh Dad, they've given me all this money, and they said they're going to give it to me if we do this or whatever." Because a lot of that's going to come from private conversations. But it's just incredibly suspicious. Why? Why is this, nefarious character, a woman who is just, drowned in corruption, basically, in Russia?
She is a suspect across the planet. If she showed up at your party, close the door.
Let's just really put this in context. Russia's richest woman, like you say, you don't get rich in Russia unless you're in Putin's pocket. It's as simple as that. Because as soon as you fall out of favor with Putin, that's it. You're gone. You get kicked out. You disappear overnight. Poisoned. Yeah, whatever it is, that's what happens. So if you have wealth in Russia, to maintain that wealth, you have to be friendly with Putin. So here's a person
you have to be actively working to maintain your wealth.
Why are they sending $3.5 million to a firm that Hunter Biden owns? And that money was basically acted as a proxy, or some of it acted as a proxy, that then went on to an American company called Back USA, who made tablets in New York that were manufactured in China. So you just have all of these really bizarre links. Why is this woman in Russia investing in an American firm that creates tablets in China, using Hunter Biden's company as a proxy?
It's perfectly feasible that Hunter Biden is the next Warren Buffett, right? I don't think so. There's no evidence there. Show me the evidence that he is.
So, all of this smoke to me suggests, it's hard. It's just hard to play these things down. Now, don't get me wrong. People will often cite the links that Trump has with, Russian this or Russian that when it comes to his business dealings and this kind of thing. You got to remember, obviously, Trump's organizations, the businesses that he owns are, global enterprises. They do dealings all over the world. The reality is that China is a big market. Russia can be a big market. It makes sense that they would be doing those kind of dealings. Here, it's not out of the ordinary. So him having some kind of faint connection with someone in Russia seems relatively normal for for a billionaire in America who's doing wheelings and dealings all over the world. Here's a guy, though, who had no experience in this kind of thing, working in this energy firm, and he's taking money from a very corrupt individual in Russia for his... Why would there ever be any possible link there?
They're throwaway money. They're throwaway firms as well. It's not like you can throw away the Trump organization, right? Like, they're big, prestigious names. They're well established. But Rosemont Seneca, Thornton, it's not exactly a household name, is
it? and this firm in America that's been making this tablet, they went into administration afterwards with millions of dollars of debt, and they had a couple of 100,000 in assets. So they were just absolutely hemorrhaging money. It seems to me, if I just kind of put two and two together on this one, that this firm really had no interest in being a successful tablet manufacturer or whatever it is that they were doing. They were basically just there to act as kind of a proxy somewhere for the money to go in this situation. But regardless, listen, all we can do is look at the evidence that we've got and kind of draw what conclusions that we can draw from that based upon common sense. But why isn't
corruption works? It always banks on the last element of doubt, and you have all the pieces there, but you just can't prove it.
But here's the thing, though: is why isn't Joe Biden coming out and bringing out a defense for this and saying, well, the money was for this and all that, and this is why they did that. Oh, and this person invested.
Run back into the basement.
Yeah. He refused to make any comment on this. He refused to make any defense. All he wants to do is draw all of the attention towards his opponent, and he does not want to face any scrutiny whatsoever. I really hope, what are we on? Thursday now, we've got 6 days until the first debate. This is something that Trump has to bring up. We have to hear an answer from Biden. It could just be that this is all a simple misunderstanding. It looks bad, but actually, here's what happened. Well, if that's the case, then why can't Biden just come out and say that? Have a conversation with your son. Say, son, why did you take $3.5 million from this one? Oh, it was for this, this, and this. Oh, okay, fine. Well, I'll just go and let everyone know that.
The mainstream media won't be doing their job, will they? They won't. They have no interest in doing exactly what you said and asking those tough questions, because they have an interest in who wins. So it has to be Donald who stands up there on Tuesday night and gives it to him and demands that he reveal in front of the nation the answers to the question you just posed.
Well, I absolutely hope so. I'm really looking forward to it. So I think anyway, that wraps this one up for today. We'll be following this story as more information comes out. If Joe Biden gives a response, if he actually, faces any scrutiny on this, if he is actually forced to give an answer, because right now he isn't, we're going to let you know what he said. And if any more details come out, we're going to further analyze them and give our verdict on what the hell is actually going on in this case.